Hey everyone, Oakland's just picking up the pieces after Tuesday's morning and day and night of violence by police against Oaklanders and protesters. I don't care if they didn't live in Oakland, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is, all this happened under the watch of Oakland Mayor Quan. Current TV commentator Keith Olbermann, formerly of MSNBC, called for Mayor Quan's resignation. Here's what Keith had to say.
Quan has spent more than 20 years in service to the people of the Bay Area. She started with grassroots work to improve Oakland's schools, save its music programs, incorporate the history of the area's minority communities, save the libraries, save the zoos, save the museums, save the arts, push back against the tides of pollution and deregulation, and even in the summer of 2010 to take part as a member of the city council in the protests against the jury verdict after a transit police officer had shot and killed an unarmed black man the year before. And in the last two nights, Mayor Quan of Oakland has betrayed all of that. There is no excuse. There is no justification. There is no rationalization for being the mayor who may have begun the great march backward in this country to the days when mayors like Sam Yorty of Los Angeles and Hugh Adonisio of Newark and Richard Daley of Chicago stood back as their police incited, bullied, overreacted, and brutally assaulted protesters at the height of the civil rights and Vietnam movements. Those protests began nonviolently, positively, with singing and marches and cooperation with the authorities. But the police, like the police in Oakland, California this week, they injected the violence. And it escalated and echoed, and soon there wasn't just one Iraq vet in a hospital with a fractured skull, but there were dead men and women on the streets of this country, and no one in this country wants to see that again today. The mayor of any city is not out on the front lines with the cops, and not everything they do can be laying at the mayor's feet. But if one night a group of peaceable protesters, exercising the rights given to them under the Constitution, and not rights made up by the cops for the cops, like lawful command and imminent threat, if they are attacked with tear gas and rubber bullets, and the mayor's only comments are to commend the police chief for a, quote, generally peaceful resolution to a situation, and after that claim democracy is messy after the unprovoked actions of those police horrify a nation, she is endorsing and assuming for herself the responsibility for whatever havoc the out-of-control police officers have wrought. If this country were not poised on a vital, urgent, and massive change in which no longer will we permit governments to aid and abet class warfare by the rich, Quan's story would be recognized as something of a tragedy. But right now, there is only time to note that in July 2010, when she attended as a peacekeeper the protest of the police murder of Oscar Grant, Oakland police responded by opening an investigation on her and threatening to file charges against her. 15 months ago, Mayor Quan was bullied by the Oakland Police Department, and tonight, she is the bully. Mayor Quan is left with two choices. She can dismiss the acting police chief, Howard Jordan, and use her mayoral powers to authorize Occupy Oakland to protest again without harassment. Or having betrayed everything she supported and all those who had supported her, she must resign.
Now, my take on this briefly, because I am right now spent and exhausted from all this, is that Jean really screwed up, you know? But I'm not ready to call for her resignation if Jean goes to the General Assembly of Occupy Oakland and apologizes. And I mean a heartfelt, no notes, from the gut outpouring of emotion and sorrow that will turn around everyone who is right now massing against her. People do not like the way she's handled this, and she's in the newspaper saying, I didn't know. You know, I gotta tell you, I want to like Quan. Okay, I've said that before. I say it again. This is not personal. It hurts me to talk about Quan in this way. It really, really does. I want to like her, and I want her to be successful. She's, for a host of reasons. And not just because she's the first Asian mayor in Oakland's history, the first woman, but because she's part of Oakland's history, part of Oakland's community family fabric. Something went wrong. I don't know what it was, because I don't know her well enough to... I don't know. Maybe Floyd, her husband, does. Something went wrong up here. But she can fix that. And I continue to believe in her ability to be a great mayor. I've said this to her before. I'll say it again. God has blessed Jean Quan with the opportunity to be mayor. But right now, Jean is blowing it. She's got to salvage it before that 71 signatures on that recall ballot actually reaches 19,000 and she's in a world of trouble. I don't want to see that happen to her. So, if she goes to the General Assembly, yes. As far as I'm concerned, fine. But if she doesn't, I'm going to reconsider. She owes Occupy Oakland and the city of Oakland, its residents, us, a very, very deep apology.